I was asked to put together a few suggestions for Ireland. You may have more or less time and flexibility, so you can use this how it suits your time and spending plan best. Flights from the US are usually more direct and a bit lower fare flying into Dublin. However, depending on your itinerary, you may find it more convenient to fly into or home from Shannon. In Dublin, I love the hop on and hop off bus tour. It's an affordable, flexible way to get around if you're a more independent traveler. Get the good seats on top. It can be chilly depending on the time of year, but so worth the views. When you're down below, you basically miss half of the scenery. The tour guides on the buses are usually super witty as well. It's a great way to learn a lot in a short period of time and hop off and on when it suits your interests. Do the Kilmanham Gold Tour. Book a ticket online on their website and be early. You will love this and you will learn so much about Irish history. Believe it or not, after multiple visits to Ireland, this is where it all came together for me. Among other things, there was a famine, people were committing crimes to go to jail to get food, albeit bread and milk. That led to emigration, and as they say, the rest is history. Be sure to read all of the captions of the pictures on the walls in the museum-type area before you leave. The best taxi app is Free Now. There's really nothing free about it that I know of, but that's what it's called. Download it and get your account set up before you depart for Ireland. The oldest pub in Dublin is Brazenhead. It's fun any time of day and super happening at happy hour, especially on the weekends. They often have live music in multiple rooms with standing room only. So be patient and plan to spend some time there. I like whiskey and I enjoyed the Jameson tour and tasting, but they don't make it there, so it's really just a museum. I highly recommend the Teeling Distillery in Dublin. It's got the most history, even though it reopened just a few years ago, and I think it's one of the smoothest whiskeys I've ever had the pleasure to drink. If your goal is to take some home, however, keep in mind that alcohol is not available for purchase before noon on Sundays. The Guinness Storehouse tour is totally worth it. Opt for the upgraded Pour Your Own Pint tour. Then plan to rest and relax over a beer or two at the top of the storehouse with 360-degree views of the city. I have visited briefly to Northern Ireland and love the Titanic Museum, where I also learned a lot about Ireland's history, especially as the tour begins, reading all those captions on the walls. If you visit, be sure to have someone point out the significance of the exterior of the museum as well. That's where the Titanic was actually built, the positioning and architecture of the buildings, benches, and more. It's all significant. Giant's Causeway is also very interesting and worth a drive. I've heard Derry is a popular place to stay. Popular stopping off points are Donegal and Sligo. On your way south, Dublin has great B&Bs where you can walk or hike along the paths to the Cliffs of Moher. Speaking of the stunning Cliffs of Moher, Galway is where we often stay, a nearby college town. The nightlife is fabulous. If you happen to be passing by, the oldest bar in Ireland is Sean's Bar in Athlone. Totally worth the stop. Bunratty Castle in Shannon has a replica village and nicely kept castle. They even offer a castle dinner show that's totally worth it if you're in the area in the evening. Book tickets in advance for that. Rothbawn Farm is always worth the stop. The family do everything they can to entertain us and let us get up close and personal with the farm animals, feeding them, petting them, and watching the sheep herding demonstration. And they make the best scones ever and share the recipe too. One of my favorite towns is Tralee. I just always meet the most historical people, have great conversations, and there's nice shopping there too. It's a small city with a lot of history and the great hopping off point right before the Dingle Peninsula. I love Dingle. The town of Dingle is awesome with great food, shops, bars, also a great place to spend St. Patrick's Day. Definitely plan to stop just about anywhere along the route or in the town if you travel along the Dingle Peninsula. There's a great pottery place called Lewis Mulcahy Pottery along the Dingle Peninsula. You can do pottery there with advanced reservations. It sits in the most scenic spot too. On a clear day, you can see the island of Skellig Michael as a silhouette on the southern horizon. You may opt for the Ring of Kerry, which is equally scenic and nice, just missing the town of Dingle. Killarney, as you already know, is my favorite town. Great size, adjacent to the national park, fabulous shopping, dining, theater, national park, all in easy walking distance from one another. If celebrating my birthday in Ireland, wherever you are on St. Patrick's Day, make dinner reservations. Even the bars are full with no tables, and the locals were kind of crabby that day. Allow about an hour for the Blarney Castle, kissing the stone and strolling through the gardens, and another hour for shopping at Blarney Woolen Mills next door. Personally, I think it's the biggest concentration of Irish goods in the country. They have a nice pub there attached to the Woolen Mills that attracts locals too, so if someone's shopped out, they can sit and enjoy a pint. Kinsale is very much the culinary capital of Ireland, in addition to a very historically significant town with a wonderful historic stroll tour if you wish to reserve that in advance. Kinsale is mainly known for its beautiful setting on the water, historic significance, and the best food in Ireland. Keep an eye on the local events so that you can be sure to make dining reservations if necessary. The Waterford Crystal Factory sounds boring, but it's not. It's totally worth the stop if at all interested. While it's a quarter of the production of what it used to do there, they still make beautiful crystal there, and you get to watch them make it from scratch and hear about and see all the pieces they make for so many prominent events and people. Think presidential awards, NFL, Disney, and more. Cove Heritage Museum was the last stop of the Titanic before she set out to sea to America. People got off, people got on. There are great stories of love, loss, and immigration here. The Denbrody Famine Ship is a great tour on the way back to Dublin, assuming you're flying home from Dublin, that is. Advanced reservations are recommended for this. If your last overnight is in Dublin before flying home, go to the Irish Dance Party. Advanced reservations are required. If you would like someone to plan all of the details for you, the best flight schedule, fares, hotels and B&Bs, transportation, sightseeing, dining, and more, don't hesitate to reach out. That's what we do. Happy safe travels. Sláinte!